Hi everyone, I've been playing with the May Potomac Beads treasure kit or treasure box. I don't know. It's a subscription kit that you can get each month. I will have a link to their website down below if you could use that if you're interested in anything at Potomac Beads, including the treasure kit, and also they have a, I forget what it's called, but it's another one that has patterns. And I can't remember the name of that one. But anyway, because I don't get that one. So I've been playing around. This I had strung, if you might recall, if you saw last month, I had strung this, but I hadn't decided what I wanted to do with it yet. I was playing around with the bracelet. And so when I saw these yellow beads in the May kit, the big yellow beads, and also these sort of multicolor little crystals, I decided to make an asymmetrical necklace with it. So I still have this. I have to crimp, and I have this clasp. This is from my stash, and I won't say where I got it, but anyway, it's been in my stash for a while. So it'll go like that, and I decided to have the flower down at the bottom part, and I think, yes, I think that would be best because that'll be the more stationary part. And then this chain is in the kit, and that's going to wrap around like this. Now, I haven't quite decided whether I want this to be an 18 or 20-inch necklace. I'm thinking 20. And what this is 20 gauge wire. It's this silver plated 20 gauge round medium temper wire. And I did use for both ends of it, I used my multi-step looping plier. This is a Eurotool one, but I don't know when. I got this a long time ago, so I've had it in my stash and I love to use it. I use the smallest one to make consistent loops on either end. And I attached this right to the chain to make it a little more secure, and I'm going to attach this side right to this clasp. So how I did this, I actually strung this on beading wire till I figured out what I was doing. How I did this is I took, now we got head pins in the kit that are I think 2-inch or 1.5-inch maybe, I can't remember. I don't have it right here in front of me. But I used, and I don't like to do this very often, I used a one-step looper thingy. So we'll do one together. And I made 5 of them and put them in here. These little silver balls are from the March kit. March? Yes, March kit. And these little red saucers are the last I had from the April kit. You can see there's some in here too. So those were the last 4 that I had. So I just wanted a little pop of more color in there. And I think the silver ties in with the ends of the little head pins that I used. And now if you push this really tight, which this will be tighter, you can make these look like a 5-petal flower almost, if you space them out right. So that's why I did 5. You could do 6. You could do a lot more and make larger clusters, but I wanted to save some of those beads for more projects that I'll be working on, which we'll share soon. All right, so I'll show you this. I don't usually do this, but with these short head pins, my hands have a little trouble. So I just stuck it in through there. It does poke out here. You want that bead to be right up against the looper, but not inside of it. You're going to go like that. Now, when I first learned this, I was taught to then break the neck a little bit. But when I do that, it bends it open too far. I don't know if you can see that. See? So, and it makes the neck really long. I'm just not real crazy about that. So then I always have to, make sure they're closed. And then see, that's more like a P. I don't like that. So I put my pliers in there. It doesn't really matter on this in this purpose, but if you were doing wire wrap links, it would matter. So now it looks more like a reasonable loop, but it's open, and you need to make sure this is really closed well for this purpose. So there you go, and I'll save that because maybe I'll make some cluster earrings to go with this at some point. Anyway, so let's wire wrap this right onto this clasp and finish this necklace off together. I didn't think you needed to see me stringing all this stuff on. Hopefully. Oops, I don't have it open enough. And how I do this, I've shown this many times before, but I put my pliers right above the top bead and make sure they're tight, and then I make a 90-degree angle. That gives me enough, usually with 20 gauge wire anyway, for 3 wraps. Let's see, that's going to be upside down, so I need to put it the other way so it flips right side up, if I can do that. Oh, goodness me, I have to open it more. A little bit difficult. There we go. Alright, and I'm going to hold this, close it up, and hold it with my you could use skinny nose pliers, or I have these bent nose with me at the table right now. And then I like to make tight wraps, so I'm going to use the tip of my chain nose pliers. Make sure I'm in frame. My camera doesn't like glare, but I'm just wrapping the wire around itself basically. And also that loop is big enough, hopefully. Okay, that's about ready. Trying to get around one more time. There we go. And let's see. Actually, I'm going to see if I can just finish wrapping that so that it doesn't, I don't have to cut any off. A little hard with the clasp dangling there. Come on. Can't get my pliers in there. And my eyes don't like silver glare either. I usually wear some magnifying things. I should just get a magnifying pair from the Dollar Tree or something. I have like a big visor thing, but I don't really like it anymore. And it's seen better days. And they don't sell, I haven't found that same one. I understand why. It actually has batteries for a light. So there, that's what it'll be like. And then this will go in through here, but we're going to crimp that first. So isn't that cute? I think it's cute. My opinion. And my design. Okay, so here I have some number 2. These happen to be Beadalon crimp tubes, and I also have a wire guardian. I don't usually use crimp covers. I just have ruined too many pieces trying to get the crimp covers closed properly. So, but I do use wire guardians to make sure this wire doesn't wear out rubbing on the clasps. And sometimes the holes in the metal clasps have some rough edges. So, but you do need to make sure, let me make sure this will fit through here. Yes, it will. Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to use. And oops, and I fling it across my table. Here it is. All right. So I'm going to take, let's see, it's pretty much the same from the design from either end. So let's put our crimp bead on first. I might be able to, let me do something with this light to make it a little less glary maybe. Yeah, we'll see if that helps. Then we put in our wire to the wire guardian. I did forget to bring my crimping pliers over, so I'm going to have to pause this in a minute, but we'll keep going for a second here. And then we put the clasp through before we stick the wire back through the crimp tube. I like to use crimp tubes. I haven't had good luck with crimp beads, and I also find them harder to crimp and make a nice shape. Alright, I'm going to slide this crimp tube up and put it through. The first end is always the easiest. So that's what we have. The wire guardian and the crimp tube, which is going to be glary. Anyway, let me go get the crimp pliers. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. So let's make sure our wire is not twisted like that. See, it's not twisted. Slide that up further. Like I said, the first side is always easier. I have found that if I hold the crimp pliers with the sort of indented side towards me, that makes consistent crimps with the, I think with the indent towards the back, I hope. Let me make sure that's right. There we go. Nope, I was wrong. It's the other way. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to now put it, first of all, we'll test it. And that is a secure crimp. Now this wire guardian, I'm going to actually take, and they say not to do this, but I'm going to close it a little bit because I don't want this clasp thing sliding down. Okay, now I put it in the front and I just go around and make it into like a littler crimp. Now, maybe this can go through a bead or two. Sometimes the bead holes aren't big enough to do that, but this one it is for a few. So I think what I'll do is I'll go on the other side of this flower, if it'll go through this. Yes, and that actually is a smaller hole, which will hold it in place nicely. And then I'm going to cut that side. Sometimes I don't cut it till I get both sides crimped, but in this case I'm going to. Then I'm going to slide all these down, see if I can get that little tail into that crystal. It's not going to want to go. I should have put it through maybe one more. There we go. Okay, now we'll do the same on the other side. Except I don't know what I'm hooking it onto on this side. I could hook it right onto the chain. But let's get our crimp and our wire guardian on at least. We might use one of the oval jump rings that came in the kit actually to hook it onto the chain. I think I will do that. It's not 100% secure, but it's pretty good. Oval is, to me, better than not oval. And I can open the jump ring, so I'm going to go ahead and just finish crimping this. But in this case, what we have to do, oops, let's see, to get the wire into the crimp tube and the bead, I'm going to go through this again, and maybe that clear one. Yeah. Okay. And get a hold of it. My nails, I broke my nail down past the skin and it hurts a wee bit, but it'll be all right. So now you want it to be flexible, but you know, not a whole lot of extra on it. That's going to have a tiny bit of extra there, I see. So I'm going to pull it a little bit more. Maybe loosen that up just a bit. Okay. So since I did the other one this way, I'm going to do this one this way. We're just putting it in the second part of the crimp plier where the, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. The, anyway, it's the back hole, I'll call it. And just squish down and test. Always pull test. It's fine. And then put it in the front one, kind of go, your divot is right here, so you're going like top to bottom instead of on top of it. It's hard to explain, but I'm sure you've seen it done a million times or 1,000 or so. And now that's ready, and let's just get as close as we can in here with my nippers and nip away. And then that can go into the little red bead there. Okay, so that's our piece that we're going to hook onto the chain. And hopefully you can get this in. There we go. Okay, so it's going to be a front closed and asymmetrical necklace. I'm going to put you on pause and go get the oval jump rings. Okay, so I brought the little measuring tape from last month's kit, and the first thing we have to do is we're going to have to cut this chain to whatever length we want. So first I have to see how long is this to know how much chain I want to cut. So I want the inches side, and this is a little misleading because it's a little bent to shape it to the front. From there to there is not quite 12 inches. We'll say 11 3/4. Let's say 12. So if I do 6 inches of chain, that would be 18. But I think I want it to be 20-inch necklace. So I need 8 inches of chain roughly. So let's just do this. And from here to here is 8 inches. Is that going to be enough? Let's see. I'm going to actually put the jump ring in there to mark where I'm thinking. And these are oval. So what I like to do is hold them so that you can see where the opening is. Where's my bent nose? And also the bent nose, because otherwise they can distort out of shape. All right, so we need 8 inches of chain, approximately. So right about here. And let's go ahead and hook that onto our wire guardian, and we'll see how we like that. It doesn't look like very much chain to me, but maybe that's okay. I just don't want to cut it till I'm sure. Oops. And we'll close that better once we are sure of the design. Oh, I think that'll be fine. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut the chain. So basically, this is going to be back where the clasp was, and it's going to look like this. Now, you could also, if you want to do something like this, you could also cut the chain in pieces and put a little bead link in it, but I kind of like it just with the chain there. So let me make sure I'm cutting the right one. And I don't know if this chain is open or closed. All right, I want to cut. Let me make sure I'm cutting the right one. That one is in there. So I need the next one, which I believe is this one. And if it isn't, we'll take the jump ring off. And by the way, be careful when you do that, because you saw that little bit flew, and that's really kind of dangerous. I usually cover it better than that. All right, now I'm going to make sure this is really closed very tightly. So I'm calling this a design with me because I have a couple other little pieces here. All right, so that is it. That's the asymmetrical necklace. I hope you enjoyed that, and it'll go something like that. Okay, isn't that cute? All right, so the next piece then I was working on was a bracelet. And this is using the, I believe it was Amazonite. I used all but 3 of the pieces. And I also brought in these little check flowers. I didn't use them all. In fact, I have 2 for earrings here. I brought in this little tiny magnetic clasp to use. And we're just going to crimp it. And I also brought in just a couple pearls from the March kit. These Comet 4mm, I had some left because I thought the color of them went good with these little check flowers. I also used some of these Silverline clear cubes throughout the bracelet. I only used 2 pearls right in the center flower there, and all the rest it's the Amazonite and the pearls. But you can see I have a small, look at that's already hooked onto the little clip there. So it's going to be about 6 3/4 to 7-inch bracelet. It's going to be a smaller one. My wrist is 6 3/4, which I've said so many times. Now the question is, do I want to use a wire guardian? Because I think I do. Because the magnetic clasp is going to pull to it, but the key is going to be whether or not the wire guardian will fit through the well, actually let's test that before we put it on the wire. Yes, it will fit through the hole. I'm going to go ahead and use one because I just don't trust that the wire won't wear down over time with all the pulling and everything. So let's put that on. And this is from my stash. It's not part of the kit, this little magnetic. And these are okay. They're not, they're strong, but they're not as strong as some I've had that are bigger. So, but they're fine for a bracelet. I didn't want it to be a real big bracelet. And I'm going to go through maybe both of these Amazonite beads, and whatever is left hopefully can just stick in those 2 flowers. 2. All right, so same thing, we just have to crimp. Actually, let me get that back up on there. And I'm gonna actually give this a little squeeze because I don't want the magnetic clasp falling off. Let's make sure this is not twisted. Let's bring this down a little bit. Okay, making sure it's not twisted. Bringing the crimp pliers again, and of course the magnet is going to stick to them. And I said the other way was better, huh? And you see the wires coming there. So what I do, once I get this in my crimp plier again, I pull it. I pull the wire. Okay, so it's in the part with the tooth. There you go. Anybody would like to buy me a new camera, I'd greatly appreciate it. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. And then do this. Now, I'm not sure I got the best crimp on that, so let's test. Nope, see, it's sliding. I could feel it. Let's try it again, see if I don't ruin it. All right, crimp down. Is that better? Yes, it held this time, hopefully. And then, there we go. I think, yep, that's good. Okay, so now I'm going to cut it right after this on this end so that the whatever little tail can go into this. In fact, I'll leave just a tiny bit of a tail, enough to fit through that crystal cube. There we go. And then slide everything down. Now we'll do the other side, hopefully a little better. And again, you want flexibility here. So we put our crimp bead on. I didn't feel like you needed to see me stringing right, but this is the design. So it's basically 2 Amazonite here, the crystal cube, the flower, the crystal cube, the Amazonite, crystal cube, flower. And then the only difference is the center one has 2 of those pearls on it. And then repeat the process down the other side. Just a cute, dainty, spring, summer kind of bracelet. If you wanted to make it a little longer, I do have 3 Amazonite left, and I have more of the check flowers. You could turn it into an anklet. If you're going to do that, I do suggest using a, oops, I almost forgot to put the other end of the clasp on. You have to do that. If I can see it, there we go. And get it over the wire guardian. Now put it through the crimp tube and a few beads. You don't have to go through a few beads, I just prefer it, especially with a magnetic clasp. Alright, this time I need to find that end. I need to pull it because see there's all that extra wire. There we go. And it's already in a circular pattern. Make sure it's going to lay flat. I'm going to squeeze the wire guardian closed a little bit before I crimp, and to make sure the wire is came open. Okay, there for a minute I thought it broke, but it just came open. All right, yeah. Just making sure it's even. All right. All right, I'm going to open it to make sure I can do this right. Okay. And then we're going to put our crimp pliers in here. I'm going to hold on to that tail to make sure that it stays even and give it a crimp. And let's see how. Yeah, actually it crimped on the back. I do have the little divot. I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. Well, for a second we had it. I'm sorry. The lighting be bad. And then we're going to come back in and put it in the front part of the pliers and give it another squish around. Check it again before I cut it. I got a little extra wire there. Not a whole lot, but some. Alright, so anyway, there you go. Little magnetic bracelet. Oops. It stops clicking onto my pliers. Easy to put on. There we go. Okay. Anyway, that is the bracelet. And then I just have these little earrings, and we got earring wires in the kit. So we're going to use them. And I'm going to do wire wrap loops on these. So I need my round nose, my chain nose, and my cutters, and that's it. And since the flowers need to be flat, I'm going to try and go sideways, and I'm putting it right at the tip of this, and these head pins are from the kit this month. Just like that. And I go about there on my pliers. It's like, man, this light is really just, I don't know if that's going to be any better. Maybe shut this one off. Oh, that might be better actually, huh? That's much better. Wow. Okay. I bring it over. Go like this. wrap this around until I get a lollipop, a lollipop. Then I take it out on my round nose. I like to hold it with, now let me see these. You could do it to, you could actually, let me make sure these open. Yes, they do. If the ear wire opens, I prefer to close this and then put it on the, open the ear wire. But you only want to open the ear wires like once. Alright, now I'm going to take the tip of my chain nose, holding it with my bent nose, or you could use skinnier chain nose to hold it, whatever you have. Some people prefer to leave the round nose in. I don't like to do that because I've gotten my loop distorted too many times trying that. And do let go and try and only hold the very end, because you bend your wire if you don't, which is what I did a little bit on this. And then make sure it's snug up against the bead and get in there as close as you can and snip and hold your finger over it, and then bring your chain nose or your bent nose in, and let's just make sure that end is tucked in really good. I'm going to kind of go around it a little bit, make sure it's not crooked. Now, I want the nice part to show on the earring, so we'll just come in. I might have to open this up a little bit here to get into this because the loop's on the back. Open that as much as we can. Put this on. Come in and close that up. Oop. Close that up. Having trouble seeing if it's closed. And then close this up. And there's our little earring. Just play with it till you're happy with it. Seeing I didn't get that tail all the way in either. There, cute little earring. It's a little wonky. When I look on screen, it looks a little wonky. Oops, maybe because I have it backwards. There we go. I'll lay that one down. Let's do the other one. And then that will be it for my 3 projects. Now I'm going to have other projects. I'm not going to do tutorials for them. Because I don't have them designed yet, but I'm planning on using some of the other pieces from the kit this month. And I'll be working on them today. So in the next day or 2, I'll have a video up, and I'll go through everything I've made with the kit. It'll be a project share of everything. So, yeah. And I think that's easier for me to show to you, actually, with this camera quality that I have, or lack thereof. Goodness me. So I've been working lately on trying to get my craft room studio, jewelry studio and craft room cleaned up. And so far, mostly what I've gotten is I have reorganized my check glass beads. I cleaned up some of my other glass beads, and I put away finally some things I had bought in the fall of 2022, and they had been inventoried already, but I hadn't put them away. So it's really hard to find things if you go looking in inventory and saying, I know I had this, and you can't find it because it's still in a bag sitting here. So I got all those put away. Of course, when I do that, I don't know how you are, but I always find things like, ooh, I want to make something with that when I'm doing put away. So now I have a bin of, I'm having a little trouble getting this closed on camera here. And you need to make sure that earring loop is closed. Let me move this back a little bit. Also, these ear wires are nice and firm, but if they're bendy, take a rubber mallet and a block, a metal block, bench block, oops, and just tap them a few times on the block up here. And now these are sort of flat here, so you would have to be careful. These don't need it. These are nice and hard. And you don't want to do it too much because then you might ruin them. So anyway, those are the cute little earrings made with the check glass beads and the pearls from last month's kit and the cubes. They're just tiny, dainty little, there we go, dainty little earrings. All right, so those are the projects I have for you so far. A bracelet with matching earrings and an asymmetrical necklace made with the chain from the kit, the yellow beads, the little multicolor beads, the silver spacers from the March kit, the check mix from the April kit, and also some of these little, these were in April also. They weren't in the check mix, they were in that other mix, teardrop mix. But all the rest of those and these red spacers here were from the April kit. And then the oval jump rings from this kit, and then this is from my personal stash, and the wire this is on is as well. So there we go. Thank you so much for joining me. I really wish I had a better camera to be able to do tutorials better, but or better lighting maybe is the issue. Both, probably. It's funny because it's the ring light that was doing more glare for me this time. Anyway, I digress. Thank you so much for watching. Do come back in a day or two, and I'll have more projects for you using the May Potomac Beads treasure kit. And if you are interested in any products from Potomac Beads, please use the link down below. There is also information down below about the 2 kits they have available, the monthly subscription kits. And a lot of the beads you can only get in the monthly subscription kit. And then other items like these ear wires, for example, have a number that you can look them up on the website. Those and the oval jump rings that I used here. And I don't think I have the bags for the other things from this month's kit over here with me. All right, guys. See you next time. Hugs, love, and peace.